guys, it's Gary from Screams and Thrills. So it has came to that time of year again where it is the annual Hoppings up at the Newcastle town moor. So we are heading over to have a look at the current state of the build-up, see who's pulled on so far, and this year it is back to its full capacity. So it's a lot bigger than what it was last year, so we've got a lot more to record. We've just got onto the town moor itself, and we've already started to notice that they have put out all the markings for the paths and also where the rides are going to be situated, and it certainly has gone back up to its full capacity. So I'll spin the camera around, you can see roughly what we can see at the moment. So as you can see off in the distance there is the beginning of the build-up of the Hoppings. I do apologise for the shakiness of the camera, I forgot to bring the gimbal on this occasion. Looks like we've got the start of possible helter-skelter maybe. We've got crane. So yeah, just to give you a quick overview, this is all going to be where the Hoppings is. Now last year they weren't able to use the top end of the field due to ground damage from the previous year from an event. So last year it was cut significantly down. However, this year they've been given permission to reuse that top end, so now we have the full capacity. As you can see on the ground here, we are following one of the lines. You can see another line there and another one there, and central pathway where the trucks tend to pull on. Now they started to pull on this ground, from what we can understand, was Monday, I think it was, or Tuesday. So not really expecting much to be. So as we're walking along here, you can see there is numbers, markings on the ground, which will be where particular rides are going to be going, the plot numbers. You can see the countdown. So yeah, just to give you an idea of roughly how many attractions are going to be here, the number that we've come up to at the moment is 435. So yeah, gives you a bit of an idea of how big this year's Hoppings is going to be. So from what we can gather from social media posts, we have some of the Crows rides pulled on, in the sense of the spinning coaster and part of Energy Storm Waltzer as well. But also looks like we've also got a marquee set up there, not too sure what that's for. We've got the start of what will be where the caravans and that are, and then we're not even halfway down, I don't think, at the moment. And off in the distance it looks like we've got what looks like a helter-skelter starting to be built, and again this will be one of the central pathways, or leading to one of the central pathways. Yeah, you can see some caravans have already started to pull on. On the way up to here we did see a couple more rides parked up in laybys, including the Jamaican XXL Miami by Elliot Crow. So it looks like that may be attending this year as well. Again, hopefully the repairs that he's done to it and the improvements he's done to it is a lot more intense. So we're coming up here to where the fair stopped last year, which was the main road through. So that would be one of your main entrances there if you're coming by foot, and along that area is normally your hospitality type suites, so your paramedics, your security, first aid, lost child, toilets and the likes of that. And then along here was all food stalls, and then roughly whereabouts that crane is was about where the big wheel was, which, to be fair, wouldn't surprise me if that is the big wheel. So yeah, that's going to be the big wheel, which is by D. Conan. It's nice to see they've got their own crane. That's just one of many loads that'll be coming for the big wheel. Some of the rides haven't been put into position yet. I think this is the first one or second one to be put into its actual position. So yeah, currently there's only 3 loads pulled on, but there'll be a hell of a lot more than that, because these big wheels, as the name suggests, are pretty big. So yeah, we got there the Giant Wheel Company, which I believe is the same one that was here last year. So yeah, you can see there's another central road there. Now all this part last year was unavailable to use, and some of it was used for car parking, the more firmer parts of the ground, which was a bit further up, roughly where the what looks like a skelter is in the distance there. And then, as usual, we've got all the rides pulling in and parking up, waiting to be sent into their respective areas. And with it being at its full capacity again this year, I can imagine parking will return to being along this side, next to where the living accommodations are for the workers. So we'll have a quick look down here and see if we can identify who's pulled on. Like I say, it's early at the moment, so there's not much being pulled on, but it's the start, and there'll be certainly more videos to come as the days goes on. So off to the side here we have got a helter skelter, the old style, which I believe is called like a lighthouse style helter skelter, which is all enclosed apart from the slide. Let's have a quick look at that. Now I believe this was right down at the bottom last year, and now it's been moved up to the top end. Whether that means there might be 2, I'm not too sure. But this one is being presented by Henry Chipperfield. So yeah, you walk up them steps, go into the inside. And usually this is around about where like the corner part is. So we'll head on over towards the loads that they've pulled in on the car parking part and have a look, see if we can identify what is here. So now we have reached the main parked up vehicle, so we'll have a quick look around each vehicle, each trailer. So beginning with these 3 here, these belong to These belong to Ryan Crow, and these are part of the spinning coaster. So on this one we've got tracks and support. The spinning coaster, as we found out before, comes in on quite a number of loads. And then we've got next to it a load of fencing, which we put out around to separate areas off. More coaster track. That's the smaller style fencing. Then we've got the bigger Harris fencing, which goes around the outside. And then we've got the Crows events, that's part of the waltzer. And then we've got another load for the spinning coaster, which is the bottom of the lift hill, and 2 of the cars. And new for this year, we have got Alex Crow's Psycho Loop Fighter. So there's its main load, it's the main body of the ride, backflash and some more parts of the ride. Yeah, these have just been packed up. This one came straight from Stewart's Park at the party in the park. And we've also got the pay box as well for Psycho. So officially Psycho comes in on 3 separate loads. The main load, which is the main ride, pay box, and the backflash with the other little bits and bobs on it. As we go a bit further down, we've got Alex Crow's truck, which is specific for Psycho. It's a lovely truck. And you can see there, Crow's Leisure Group, International Showman. Behind that we seem to have a funhouse of some description. And then we've got the main body of Energy Storm Waltzer. And another truck for the waltzer. One will have the cars in, one will have platforms in. That's by Ryan Crow. Same as we have the main station for the spinning coaster, again by Ryan Crow. This is the first time it's been dismantled since Easter. It's been sat in Stewart's Park. And we've got the hot box for, well, the pay box for the spinning coaster. Behind that you can see some yellow containers there, part of your welfare units. So there'll be toilets, security and the likes. So we'll have a look, see if we can identify what these trucks are a bit further down. So here we have another load, which I'm not 100% sure what this load is for at the moment. It kind of reminds me of something that would be on air, possibly. It's certainly foreign. We have a big drive wheel there as well, which would suggest to me coaster, possibly. And we've got another load on here, which is very similar. Again, looks like some sort of supports. It looks like platforms on the top there. I am actually wondering whether this could be part of Abidanta's air. Because they look like platforms on the top. Ah, no, I think I know what this is part of. I think, if you read very carefully there, it says big wheel. I think this is 2 more of the loads from the big wheel. So this could be supports for the big wheel, and that'll be the platforms. So this load here, yep, it's the giant wheel operator's box and pair box and souvenir photos as well. So like I said, the big wheels come in on a lot of loads. So you've got 3 loads over here at the moment. I think there's about 3 already over. And then we've got a few juveniles pulled on. So we've got Alan Crow's toy set. Which is a Paw Patrol toy set. And other Disney characters. And then we've got Alan Crow's teacups. And then here as well we've got the base for Alan Crow's Dodgems. Now I can't remember whether Alan Crow's Dodgems, the cars come packed inside it, or whether they come on a different wagon. Tempted to say they come packed inside it. And then we've got some inflatables as well, which is by Alan Crow. So yeah, on there we've got quite a few different large inflatables, ranging from giant minion, and there's usually like a giant slide. There may also be other ones there as well. Yeah, you've got quite a few giant inflatables. So we shall see what he brings this year to the Hoppins. So yeah, off in the distance there you can see the big wheel. So far all we've got set in position is the big wheel and Chipperfield's lighthouse slip, which is a Helter Skelter. So we shall have a little wander down. We've got some more caravans set up. Whether these are in the final positions or not, I'm not 100% sure. I doubt there will be, because a lot of the caravans are usually on this side of the field. So we'll have a little wander down. Like I said at the beginning, there's not much at the moment to see, but it's the start. And as we said last year, we were going to cover the build-up of the Hoppins again, and this year is obviously much bigger and better than last year. So there'll be a lot of content to come. And of course, while the Hoppins is operating, we will be visiting as well, bringing a lot of footage from the fair itself, both on ride and off ride, hopefully. So yeah, it's running from the 20th to the 29th of June, and it is free entry. Parking is £5, I believe, or I think there might be a slight discount if you book online. Not 100% sure at the moment. But yeah, we've come to the central path again. So we'll head off down here. So we've got a bit of a welfare unit. yeah, all this is going to have rides on it. And we've got our first catering unit as well. I'm not 100% sure what is in this white marquee. I don't know if it's just been set up at the moment as a bit of an entertainment area for the workers while the Hoppins is getting built up, or if it's actually going to be part of the Hoppins. So I know they do have live music pretty much every day, and they also have children's entertainment as well, and they also have the improved feast street as well. So there is a company name on the side there, Dobson's Marquees, which is obviously the company that has provided the marquee. As to what is inside the marquee, not too sure. I mean, it could just be covering ride parts. As you can see, this is one of the temporary road surfaces. So I had a quick peek inside that marquee behind me, and nothing really exciting in there. It's just a wooden floor and some tables and chairs. So I'm going to guess that's either hospitality at the moment for the people who are working on site, for them to have a little bit of a break and some food, hence the catering unit next door to it. Or it could be, like I say, part of the live entertainment that they're going to be having, or for the it could be like a seating area for the feast street that they'll be having as well. Previous years, Feast Street has been further down in the ground, so we'll just have to keep our eye on that and see how that develops. At this moment in time, I'm more tempted to say it's more of a hospitality aspect for the workers, with there being a catering unit to the side of it. So yeah, at the moment, that is pretty much it. A lot more rides will no doubt be arriving as the days goes on, so we will try and make as many regular visits as we can to the ground and see what changes have been made. So as I say, WJC Attractions will be attending the Hoppins this year with their newly acquired Ghost Train and their Big Apple Coaster, also called Crazy Caterpillar Coaster. Goes under a few different names, but it'll either be the Big Apple or Crazy Caterpillar that I will refer to it as. Hopefully they're planning on trying to get that on site sometime next week. After speaking to William, hopefully it should be around about mid next week, if all goes well. And hopefully the Ghost Train as well will be attending at roughly the same time, so we'll try and get as much footage as we can of them attractions being built up. However, I will be helping to construct them attractions, so might not be able to get a massive amount of footage, but I'll try and get as much as we can, as well as obviously the other rides and attractions that will be coming. So for now, that is all for this quick visit to the town moor at Newcastle, which is the home of the Hoppins. I will put details on your screen now of the dates that it's on and any opening times and any prices, etc., of parking It is free entry. There is usually about 4 entrances usually. So yeah, we'll point them out as they get constructed. We will visit as often as we can. It might just be myself, or it might be Elizabeth that might come over, or it might be both of us. But either way, we will try and bring you as much footage as we can from the build-up of the Hoppins, which is back to full capacity this year. So there'll be more rides than before. Estimated over 400 attractions. Now, bearing in mind, by attractions, it's not just your main thrill rides, excuse me, but it's also your juvenile rides as well, and some game stalls are classed as attractions as well. So when it says over 400 attractions, that is including everything that is at a fair that you would usually see. I think the only thing that's not included is in that number is the food outlets. So if you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you keep tuned for future updates from the build-up of the Hoppins 2025, and we'll see you in the next one.